y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Hold on, the light look a little weird. Yeah, welcome back to the channel, you guys. I just want to say congratulations to this channel, y'all. We hit 100 subscribers today, so I am very happy for myself. And of course to all the subscribers, you guys. I was just saying in my little short that I've come a long way from a person that has had, like, I've had my YouTube channel for like maybe 4 or 5 years now, maybe 4 years. And I started off doing makeup on there, and I'm just like, I don't know what direction I want my channel to go in. And then this year I decided to get consistent, and then I just saw myself like creating content that best suits my reality. So if you guys can already tell by the title, this page is called, not this page, the title to this is called Expectations and Experience. But before we get into that, if y'all haven't already, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all turn on post notifications. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, of course. And make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at Certified Niche. And if you cannot find that, it's gonna be in the description box below, y'all. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into the video. I had wrote some notes down, but it's just having expectations for others and my experience with expecting people to show up for me the way I should show up for me. And that goes for like everything. That goes for job related issues, that goes for friends, that goes for family, and that also goes for your relationship too. I've learned a lot over the years of me growing up and having like a rough life and feeling like I deserve this particular spot, which is an expected spot that I thought I just deserved to be in, or that people should honor me more, and then this is the expectation that I'm expecting from them. I'm gonna kind of read off my notes. I said, learning at a very young age that having expectations for others shall always be a low of low, to not cause disappointment. Typically, you guys, when we expect for people to do stuff for us, we have to remember that people are human, and we also have to keep in mind that people make mistakes, and there are often times where people can't even show up for themselves, or they don't have, they're in their heart, they want to show up for us, but because of whatever they're dealing with on their own, they can't show up for us the way we want them to. Typically, like, that kind of goes hand in hand. When you have honest people that know how to communicate, they will communicate. And I'm not saying like everybody has to communicate with you, because then everybody's like, well, who the hell are you? Like, we don't need to communicate with you. No, over the years, I've had friendships. I'm gonna start off with my friendships, and then I'm gonna go to my job, and then relationships. In my friendships, I've always felt like the expectations of having friends for me was very high. And the expectation that I expected out of my friends, I was not getting, so it became a disappointment and a letdown, where I felt like the friends that I have, they weren't meeting me in the middle, or I always felt like I was being played or used or disrespected or any of those things. And the more I kind of like sat down and analyzed, for one, I'm thinking at the times, even between my high school years, teenage years, going into my adult years, I started thinking like, some of these people don't even have expectations of themselves, you know? So like, who am I to be like, I expect you to be here. I expect you to do this for me. I expect for you to just, you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I expect for them to talk to me a certain kind of way. I expect for them to, you get what I'm saying? I expect for them to just fill in these bubbles where I should fill in those bubbles for myself genuinely. And I realized that in those areas that I was expecting for people to show up for me, I realized that I had to show up for me in those areas for myself instead of expecting them to. And I started reflecting back on myself. I'm like, why is it that I want people to show up for me so bad in this light? Why is it that so bad I want people to show up for me in this light or that light or this, that, da, 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 da. And then I realized that I wasn't showing up for me in those lights. So I was just trying to use the friends that I have to fill those voids in areas that I wasn't showing up for myself. So it's not that I didn't value myself. It's just that in the human light of things, we just want people to show up for us because there's something that we lack. And the things that we lack could be like relationships at home. It could be relationships, even when it has to do with your inner self. Like, it's just that feeling of like, it's a void filler. And I realized that I can't hold these people, especially growing up. I can't hold people in lights because there are some people that if I sit in their face, it may seem like, they have the perfect life, or they may seem like everything is good, but I don't know what happens when they go home. So how can I expect for them to show up in this area when I don't even know what their expectations like are at home? And I had to kind of like view that in a way. And I started just showing up for those areas that I felt very voided in, that I was expecting other people to show up for me in. So I also said, wanting people to show up for me, or I said, wanting people to show up for you the way God does isn't always in the deck of cards. Now, when I was writing this, I kind of like, I pumped myself. I said, who is writing this? Like, who is in my spirit writing this for real? Just wanting people to show up for you the way God does isn't always in the deck of cards. And when I thought about it spiritually, I'm like, I shouldn't have to rely on people or expect people to do the things that I can literally pray to God and God give me. And sometimes when people give you stuff like unexpected gifts or gifts that are expected or however, sometimes it's not always what it's kicked up to be. You get what I'm saying? They always say that the enemy will give you a gift wrapped up in a beautiful bow, but what's inside is a bunch of hell. And I'm not saying that physically, okay? Because people give nice gifts, I'm saying, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if you get it, you get it. So I just told myself, like, instead of allowing for the human race to show up for me, I need to really get focused on God. And I need to start having expectations for myself to be able to pray and be strong in the areas that I'm relying on human to do so. And then you start seeing like a change, it's like a changing aspect. When you're in a relationship with somebody, it's the same thing. The expectation is that you want them to be a perfect person to you. The expectation is, coming from a woman to a man, like, I want you to be able to provide for me in these areas, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. Like, I want you to be able to, these are the expectations that we have of people. Now, the downfall to that is that we can have those expectations, but the moment somebody does not meet our expectations, we immediately go into this mode of like attitude, anger. You don't care for me, like, and we don't really think like, damn, like, this person is like, have I checked in with them mentally? Are they mentally here? Like, what are their expectations for themselves? Are they where they want to? Are they exactly where they want to be? Can they even show up for me the way I'm asking? Because it may seem like they're showing up for themselves in this light, but what if they're really not? And some people be treading lightly, you guys. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, some people will literally put up a front and you think that they're okay, but these people are literally battling mental health issues, but we want them to show up for us. Some people go home even after you go to a club or something, or go to a bar. Like, there's people that will go and you look like, dang, like, they're just so fun. They look like they just, their whole life just seems so, but then these are the same people that will go home and drink themselves under a rug. The same people that probably thought of killing themselves, or people that just they're using other outside things to fill these voids, and then we look at them like, but I expect you to do this for me. I expect you to, you get what I'm saying? So I just say, you guys, like, give people grace in a lot of areas. Some people have a way of telling you things without telling you things. And I think for us, we don't really pay attention to that. We don't pay attention to when people are trying to vividly show us that they can't show up, or we are in our heads about it, and we're just like, you know what, like, you showed up for, or here go a perfect example right here. Oh, you showed up for such and such, but you didn't show up for me. You went to such and such thing, but you didn't come to my thing. You did this with such and such, but you don't want to do it with me. I'm gonna say that that's that plays hand in hand too. Now, I always look at it like this when that has happened to me, because it's happened to me recently before too. I just look at it like this, like, if I see this person show up for somebody else and not show up for me, I'm so glad with the friends that I have, because they just remind me, like, the people that's supposed to be here and that will show up for me, for you in the important areas. Now, I'm not talking about, let me go back to the communication part aspect of it, right? There are people that will communicate with you and tell you, like, hey, it could be a list of things. Hey, my funds is low, I can't show up today. Me being the type of person that I am, if I invite you somewhere, 9 times out of 10, if I know your situation and I still invite you, I'm not expecting for you to cover anything. Your presence is just good enough for me. But they're bold enough to communicate, because they're like, dang, I don't want to leave her hanging. I don't want to make her feel like I don't care for her. I want her to understand, like, I genuinely can't show up the way because some people put expectations on themselves. When you go to birthday parties, like, you don't want to go to somebody's birthday party and show up with empty-handed without no gift. You know what I'm saying? So some people be like, damn, I don't want to go because I can't get this girl nothing. Like, but that's the expectation of it. Like, I can't get this girl nothing. But you're not looking at the fact that this person don't really want anything from you. They just genuinely want you to just be there and have an experience with them and just love on them. And whenever you get around to it and get them a gift, they will understand, like, they not tripping. But there's people that will expect, because they're like, don't show up to my party unless you got a gift. That's the expectation. I don't want that. I didn't ask for that, Gloria. I said, I want you to come, and I'm inviting you to come to dinner. You don't have your funds? Okay, that's fine. I still want you to come to dinner. I'm not going to put you in a situation where I'm going to make you feel like you're embarrassed. You get what I'm saying? So, again, y'all just have to give people grace. And like I said, sometimes people vividly will definitely show you, like, I don't want to show up for you at all. Expectation or not. I just can't. But they have the means to show up for other people. That just means you got to change your tribe. Like I said, that goes hand in hand. There are people that will communicate and people that you can give grace to and that will understand where you're coming from. And then there are people that, you know what I'm saying, like, you've given them grace time and time again, but you showed up for them and then they don't show up for you. You know what I'm saying? The expectation is there on your half. I'm going to show up for my friend every single time. But then when it's your turn, they don't show up. So it's like, that is like, it sucks. It definitely sucks, because then you be like, damn, like, is this a waste of a friendship? Am I only good for when you call me and you want to gossip to me or tell me your problems? But then, like, when there's things that are important to me, I ask you to show up, you can't show up for me. Some people might look at that as like, well, that's an expectation. To me, that's not. That's me just saying, like, I would rather us vibe in another light than vibe in the lights that we've been thriving in, and I don't see any kind of substance there in that light. You feel me? So I also wrote that people will disappoint. Most people, it's not on purpose, but in some it may be, especially if at some times you guys have had a falling out and you decide to choose love over anger, and you still expect them to. So let me read that again. People will disappoint. Most people, it's not on purpose, but in some it may be, especially if at some point you guys had a falling out and you decide to choose love over anger and you still expect them to. I'm telling y'all, I was in my writing category. Like, I'm telling you. When I meant by that, when I wrote that, I just was like, there has been, I'm sorry, y'all already know how I talked about it in my last video. My nose it be feeling like it's running, but sometimes it's not. My nose is just really moist right now. Let me not get off track. But I have had falling outs, or I'm not even calling falling outs. I've had misunderstandings with people. And the logic behind it was, I've always found myself to apologize and to try to move on in a different light. And I've always tried to, even though like in the inside, I still feel like a slight bit of anger, like a little bit with them. I'm still trying to push love over my feeling, to show them like it's okay to be mad right now, but I don't want you to be mad at me forever. And if I hurt you that bad, I need you to tell me. I'm expecting for you to tell me. And when I thought about that, I was like, wait a minute, I can't expect for them to tell me, because maybe they're having like a challenge in their mind where it's like, I don't know how to approach you. I don't know how to sit down and talk to you about what is physically bothering me when it comes to our relationship. So I can't expect you to, I don't understand. No, let me change that up. I don't understand why you're apologizing and you're still trying to choose love, but I'm still angry and I can't choose love right now at this moment. So at that moment, I choose to give grace, and I give grace and I give space. Because one thing that I've learned is that I'm going to grace your situation, but I'm going to give you space. Because if I crowd your space, I'm not giving you time to think. I'm not giving you time to give yourself the benefit of the doubt if this is something that you want to move forward with in our relationship. I'm not sure on a lot of different areas, but I know one part I am sure of is that I'm expecting myself to move in a light that maybe it will challenge your light in a way where you're like, you know what, like the way she's moving, like I understand. Or like I'm trying to be like some type of like influence to show you like we can be mad all we want to, but I'm gonna choose our relationship because I love my relationship here with you. So I'm expecting for you to see me in this light, and some people can't. And I think that'd be the downfall, because we expect for people to see us in these lights, but we have to realize that they don't even see themselves in these lights. And one day they'll see it. And if they don't, they don't. If they do, hey, we cool. Until then, it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? It is what it is. Understand that your growth and expectations aren't the same as theirs. Understand that some people's values and expectations in real relationships are not aligned with ours. Like I said before, like some people glorify certain things. I don't. And what I mean by certain things is, when I went back in my old video and I talked about the aesthetic friends or the aesthetic relationships or whatever, those are expectations. All of those are expectations in my book. Some people don't understand the pressure you put on people when some people don't want that much out of you. When we go out, we have to look a certain way. We have to dress a certain way, because this is the expectation that they have in their mind of what they think a friendship is, of what they think a relationship is. But they don't really value like whatever you have in here. They don't value it more. So then you automatically become the target. You automatically become the problem. And it's like, I don't see how. Like, what I was trying to give you was substance over expectation. Substance means that there's days where I can't show up for myself, so I can't show up for you. There's days where I'm going to show up for you and I can't, You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just, those are the relationships that you want. But I'm gonna just tell y'all like this, like, always choose to show up for yourself first before you show up for anybody else. Always give yourself the best expectation first before you try to have somebody else fill that void of that expectation. Meet your own requirements. Don't depend on somebody else to meet that requirement for you. Meet the requirement for yourself on your own first. And then whoever comes into your life, if they can add to it, they can. If they can't, leave it where it's at. I've learned this year, I'm not crying over spilled milk. People probably mad at me because I had to move a certain kind of way and get myself out of a situation because they expected me to be somewhere with them or for them for various reasons. I could probably pick like 3 of those reasons out of a bunch of reasons, but I don't really know the reason behind it. You get what I'm saying? And the expectation of that was, no, I'm gonna choose me first. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm going to choose me first. The expectation of myself is I'm about to move my feet to my own beat and do what I need to do for me. You get what I'm saying? So I'm expecting myself to elevate. I'm expecting myself to not be in the same area I was in 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'm expecting myself to elevate. But in the expectation, I know that failure is a healthy thing. And I know I'm going to have to fail at a couple of things in order me to experience the expectation that I'm expecting out of myself. And I'm okay with that. So I'm not going to hold my goal in my life now is that I'm not expecting nobody to show up for me the way I need to show up for me. I don't give a damn if I planned a birthday dinner and I invited 50 people and I show up for myself. I'm going to celebrate me. Because I don't know what they were going through. They didn't communicate, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to show up for myself because this is what I want. Yes, in the reality in the reality aspect of it and in the form of it, yes, it does hurt. It triggers. It's like, damn, like, I thought you would have showed up for me. But in the expectation where it's like, I'm glad I showed up for myself because I sure did have a good time. I booked for 50 tables. It's only one. That's cool. And 9 times out of 10, you might have just a blast. The bartender might keep sending you drinks. Somebody around the restaurant might pay for your dinner. You just never know. You never know. Sometimes there's gifts and expectation and great gifts and expectations when you show up for yourself first. Because if I let anybody else show up for me the way I need to show up for me, then I'm liable to disappointment. Why would I do that to myself? I'd rather disappoint myself first than let somebody else disappoint me. I'd rather put myself through the trials and the tribulations first before I let somebody else put me back in those spaces, because I've been there before. I've been there before in relationships. I've been there before in friendships. I've been there before in job-related issues, okay? For my jobs, the jobs that I had, and I put quotations around them because they really wasn't jobs for real. When you really think about it, it's like, you used me, but that's okay, because I used you too because I needed a little bit of money. But jobs expect for you, whether you're dead, alive, sick, girl, you could have the flu, a disease, you need to show up. That's the expectation. Because when they say, when I hire you, are you eligible to work Monday through Friday? Yes or no? Are you eligible? When they put eligible under that, that means that whether you're sick, deaf, blind, weak, hungry, like there is so much under eligible, okay? When they talk about eligible, that's what they mean. I don't give a damn if your tire flat. What time can you come in? Figure it out. I don't care if you gotta come in on the next shift. I need you here. That's expectations from a job. And they don't realize, like, a lot of people run themselves thin because they don't want to lose their job, because losing their job, expectations, paying bills. I gotta have somewhere to live. That's an expectation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it falls in the category. But when you realize, you know what? I'm about to go to school. I'm about to invest into myself. I'm about to give myself a realistic expectation. Where my expectation is, I don't want to wake up every day at 7 a.m. and go to work and clock in. Hell, I want to wake up at 12 o'clock and book a trip to Dubai. the Netherlands. You get what I'm saying? That's an expectation. I want to go to school so I can make some really good money. I want to invest into myself, invest into some property. I want to start making 10K a month or more. Like, this is the goal for me. That's an expectation. But if you left it in somebody else's hands, you're gonna run into more failures. You're gonna run into more detours. You're gonna run into a lot more situations than you actually have to go through if you just had the expectation that you wanted for others, for yourself. So yeah, y'all, yeah, just really give people grace. Really analyze your friends and be like, what is the expectation here? Are you expecting me to show up because, and you got rich friends? Oh, she has to come because every time she went to such and such birthday, she came and gave them Birkin bags. So the expectation for my birthday is she didn't show up because she giving me a Birkin bag. Maybe she don't see you like that. Maybe you're not the Birkin bag friend. That's an expectation. Sorry. I'm so sorry. You get what I'm saying? So there's, like I said, just give people grace, y'all. Analyze y'all situations. Analyze y'all relationships. Most of all, analyze yourself. Ask yourself, what are my expectations for myself that I keep letting myself down by telling people? Not telling people, but you silently tell yourself, oh, I expect for them to show up for me. I expect for them to come through for me. You get what I'm saying? I expect them. Stop expecting them and expect yourself. Expect yourself to do the things that you want others to do for you. And allow God to be in those areas that you are asking for people to show up for you. Ask Him. He'll give you the answer that you're looking for. He will give you the blueprint that you're looking for. He will literally put it in your lap. Whatever it is that you're looking for. Then you can say, I did the greatest expectation by expecting myself to do exactly what I said I needed to do for me. You might fail a little bit, but it's not a detour. It's not a letdown. Because you know where you're wrong at and you know how to correct it instead of leaving it to somebody else to fix it. But yeah, y'all, that's it. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully this helps somebody with something. I don't know. I just want to say, like, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all. I'll be doing a giveaway on Friday. I'm excited. Thank y'all for the 100 subscribers. Make sure y'all follow my Instagram. Y'all, ooh, child. Excuse me. Make sure y'all follow my Instagram at Certified Niche. The link is in the description box below. Make sure y'all turn that post notification so you can be notified every time I upload. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.